Out of the slime and darkness it comes to inflict its life-destroying poison on the careless, the unwary, the unprotected.
Are we talking about drugs?
Young people are flirting with a poison every bit as deadly as that of the snake.
Drugs? In my Christian neighborhood?
This is the real action. The pot party. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones.
On November 4th, the people of Oregon, Oregon. The people of Oregon voted to halt the war on drugs by passing Measure 110. This measure decriminalizes small amounts of hard drugs, specifically 1 gram of heroin, 1 gram of MDMA, 2 grams of cocaine, 2 grams of methamphetamine, 12 grams of psilocybin mushrooms, 40 doses of LSD, 40 doses of oxycodone, and 40 doses of methadone. Now, the internet is a cesspool, and we all know that some of the worst takes on the web come from Facebook. Like this one. This is obviously an attempt at humor that is meant to delegitimize this policy. It's not very good. One reason this policy seems so scary on the surface is because this type of policy is not one we as Americans are used to. We have been getting tough on crime for about 49 years, ever since President Nixon declared the war on drugs in 1971. Hello? Who? Nancy Pelosi? You think we need more punishment for those with mental health problems and addiction? But you can't. Oh. Okay, bye. Well, that was weird. 49 years is a long time to be in a war. Let's take a look at where things started and where they are now. In 1975, about 45% of people had used an illegal drug that year. In 2018, that number was just 19%. Oh no. Have I just proved myself wrong? It looks like the number of people using drugs is down. That must mean the war on drugs is working. Libs owned. Good night. No, sit back down. While the percentage of those who have used drugs does appear to be decreasing, the number of arrests are increasing. For example, in 1975, less than 500,000 people were arrested for drug-related offenses. In 2018, that number was 1.6 million. Wonder why arrest rates increase, but drug use decreases. I just don't understand. It's almost as if they're just jailing people for nonviolent charges because they have some ulterior motive, like making money. Hello? Mitch McConnell? Hold on. You think I've said too much about what? Oh, I see. Yes, of course. I will tell them that you had nothing to do with the private prison industry and that you never owned stocks within that system and definitely never made any money off wrongful imprisonment of those with mental health disorders. In 2016, 128,063 U.S. prisoners were incarcerated in a private prison. When you combine just 2 private prison corporations' revenues, it adds up to $3.5 billion. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, but those billions of dollars are yours and mine. Our taxes are going to not rehabilitating prisoners, but to the pockets of CEOs, lobbyists, and politicians who support these private prison systems. Hello? Tennessee State Senator Marsha Blackburn? Sure, I can talk now. You need more people in prisons? We need more free labor to build bombs. There are public prisons where taxpayer dollars do go to the, although sometimes poor, rehabilitation of prisoners, but between 80 and 85% of drug-related prisoners never receive treatment for their addiction or underlying mental health problems. And with the private prison system still on the government books, we are effectively perpetuating the war on drugs by creating an incentive, money, around jailing people. Of course, most people don't know this, so when they hear something like Oregon decriminalizing drugs, they panic and they think there's going to be a drug spike and the world is going to fall apart and the libs are going to put cocaine in your children's cereal. Luckily, other countries have adopted this approach to addressing drug problems, and they haven't devolved into a world of lib-owned chaos. For example, Portugal saw an 80% decrease in overdoses related to drug use when they decriminalized drugs like heroin and cocaine. And in 1994, Switzerland decriminalized all drugs. And between 1994 and 2014, there was a 64% decrease in opioid-related deaths. And they even saw petty thefts decrease by 98%. Oh, hi, Nancy. You want me to stop talking about other first world countries who have already addressed these problems with huge success? Oh, no, I don't think I can do that. Wait, hold on. No, calm down. Hold on. Don't call Hillary. Don't call Hillary. No, don't call Hillary! Other countries that have adopted this approach are Uruguay, the
Czech Republic,
and the Netherlands. These other countries provide models that we can use to predict and measure success. Beyond these crime statistics, this is just the right thing to do. Many addicts never seek treatment for fear of being stigmatized or arrested, which is perpetuated by our current drug policy system. It's a no-brainer that when patients have access to treatment, they're more likely to use it. And paid for their treatment via the state's marijuana tax revenue, which is over $100 million a year. Not only will this likely result in a reduction of overdoses, but it will save money via the criminal justice department. All in all, the facts are clear.
Wet ass P-word.
There's nothing to fear with Oregon's new drug policy. It's simply a shift from a moral paradigm to a medical paradigm. Will there be mistakes? Yeah. And while annoying, costly, and potentially deadly, mistakes made when carrying out this law will offer a chance to learn and grow from them. We shouldn't shy away from new things because they seem scary and may not work perfectly as intended at first. If we want our society to be the best, to believe me, we're the best. Lately, we've been having the most fantastic conversations with society. We've been having fantastic conversations with drugs. There's nobody better at drugs than me. For real though, if we want our society to be the best, then we do need to be willing to try new things. Hello? Oh, it's you, Bernard. You thought I was getting Clinton. Yeah, I can talk about racial disparities. Of course, I looked at the data. Don't you huge me. I know it's a huge problem. Yeah, all right. Okay. Love you too. All right, bye. If you thought I was gonna make a video about drug policy and not mention racial disparities, then you're stupid. So stupid. Many people ask, and I used to be one of them, why do we even bring up racial statistics? If we fix the problem for everyone, then won't those in minority groups get the same benefit? Well, this sounds like a nice and comforting thought. It isn't exactly true. For one, in order to solve a problem, we must look at all facets of that problem. And America's drug problem has a lot of factors. Factors like socioeconomic status, childhood abuse, genetics, and yes, even race come into play when trying to understand drug problems in our country. So what are some of the racial issues involving drugs? Well, for one, Black Americans report similar rates of drug use as white Americans, yet Black Americans are 6.5 times more likely to be arrested for drug-related charges. We could also examine the government's response to the crack epidemic. When crack cocaine became the drug of choice for the moral panic of the 80s, Black Americans were demonized. Crack possession sentences were much harsher than cocaine possession sentences, despite having the same chemical makeup of the active ingredient. Cocaine. And this just so happened to fall in line with the drug choice for racial groups at this time. More Black Americans were using crack than cocaine, and more white Americans were using cocaine than crack. This is an example of a blatant racist policy. If we choose to be colorblind, if we choose to refuse to see the evidence of racist policies, then we can never address it. We Americans have a hard time conceding to the fact that we aren't always right on everything. Even more so, we have a hard time admitting that some of our policies have terrible ramifications for those in minority groups.
Oregon's
new drug policy is a step in the right direction. This policy has the potential to help thousands and to close the gap when it comes to racial disparities within the criminal justice system. Let's take this opportunity to be bold and to show the world that we aren't stuck in regressive policies, that we can adapt and try new things. Here's to
Oregon.
the start of a humane approach to drug policy. Thanks for watching. My sources are always in the description. And if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again. Uh-oh. Hello?